Not a problem. End my turn. All those come back. Now that's fun. Hello, Planeswalkers! Today I have another Magic the Gathering Arena video for you. I will be going over my budget blue and white artifacts deck. This is the deck that I featured in my first Journey to Mythic video. I think I've had a couple alterations since I posted that video, and there will be more alterations in the future as I try to adjust it to whatever the meta is up to, or whatever I'm struggling with the deck. To give a brief overview of what the deck does, the basic goal is that I'm trying to use Simulacrum Synthesizer to generate a ton of constructs. So what this card does is it scries 2 when it enters, which is useful, but more importantly, whenever another artifact I control with mana value 3 or greater enters, I create another one of these constructs. And these constructs are as big as the amount of artifacts that I control. So right off the bat, they're always a 2/2 at least, right? Because, a 3/3 when they come in, because normally I play the Simulacrum Synthesizer, I then play another artifact on another turn. It creates a construct, which is also an artifact, so usually they're 3/3s when they first come out, and then the more artifacts I make, the more constructs I make, and therefore they all get bigger, and then you have a bunch of big constructs. If you've seen my Journey to Mythic video, then you would have seen some of this in action. It can be really fun when it works, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to Mythic with this deck, modifying it and improving it along the way. So today I'm going to be playing a few games, demonstrating how this deck functions, and we'll see how well we can do. Okay, we're jumping into our first game here. Sir Will. Okay, so this starting hand is not amazing. I can't really do anything turn 1 or turn 2. Turn 3, I can play Tinker's Tote, which gives me some blockers, and can give me some life if I sacrifice it. And then I do have 2 United Battlefronts, which these are kind of almost a combo card. They're basically me trying to force out a bunch of artifacts very quickly. But this hand doesn't really do much at the beginning, and Standard nowadays is very fast, so I needed some early turn plays. So let me mulligan this. Another unfortunate hand. I don't have any blue mana, which I don't necessarily need, but again, I don't have any turn 2 plays. I'm gonna go for another mulligan here. Okay. Not an amazing hand, but it gives me some of the early stuff that I need. I have some draw. I have a big board, kind of a board wipe for any small creatures, and then a counter spell. So I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna have to put 2 cards at the bottom of my library. So I'm going to put Consult the Star Charts, because it's usually a little bit better later in the game, because you get a look at the top X cards, where X is the number of lands you control. So I'm going to put that one on the bottom. And I'm also going to put... this is a tougher choice. Because Meticulous Archive surveils, which lets me kind of see the top of my library, I'm actually going to put Opt on the bottom as well. This way I still have my counter spell, I still have my kind of big removal that might help me out. So I'm going to take this. Green. Alright, so I'm surprised he doesn't have a turn 1 play. Typically, if they're playing Forest, they're playing the Landfall deck, mono green deck that's trying to one-shot you with Tifa or things like that. Okay, Esoteric Duplicator is one of my primary draw engines in this game. If I have 4 mana, I can pay 2 mana, sacrifice it to draw a card, and then I can pay an additional 2 mana to trigger its ability, which will mean that it comes back in my end step. So I'm going to leave that there. Additionally, because it creates a token, and the tokens... Oh, he's playing green-blue. Okay. Sorry. Because this creates a token of it, it's also a 3-mana token. When it comes back in, it'll trigger my Simulacrum Synthesizer, which is pretty fun. So I'll play the Plains. This way I have the ability to No More Lies, which is counterspell his next thing he casts, if he casts anything at all. Kind of surprised. Not normally run into a green-blue deck. Alright, what's trying to do? He's trying to search for more lands. Now, what I found so far in Standard, especially with my deck, which is actually a bit more of a mid-range deck than it is strictly a control deck, I actually want to try to stop my opponents as fast as possible. So normally, I'm used to playing control decks where I would have let someone do something like Go Search for more lands, and then it would have countered the actual big thing, right? But I'm learning that sometimes in Standard, it's best just try to cut your opponent down as fast as you possibly can. All right. Okay, so this isn't the best start for me. It doesn't seem to be the best start for them either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to draw me some cards. Use its ability. So you see its ability goes on the stack. I'm going to pay 2 mana. So now I draw a card. And then on my end step, it comes back. And now I have a token of it. So I can do this just, as long as I have 4 mana, I can just keep doing that. Which means I will keep drawing more and more cards. Which should help me get to my end state a little faster. See what he's trying to do. He just shocked in his breeding pool. Oh! So what is he... This lets him put something big onto the battlefield, theoretically. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this card gives him way more land. I mean, it's a 6/5, which is scary in its own right. Interesting. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'll play my Archive. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that there because when I unite a Battlefront, I can put it on the battlefield. So you see, at a Battlefront, I look at the top 7, I get to choose 2 things that are 3 or less to put on the battlefield. So I'll put those on the battlefield. So here's one of the ways in which I can just kind of keep the game going forever. Tinker's Tote, when I sacrifice it, it gives me life. When I sacrifice it, it'll trigger the duplicator, which means that I can pay 1 mana to sacrifice it, and then pay 2 mana to have a token of it come back onto the battlefield at the beginning of my end step, which means more golems, which means I can sacrifice it again to do it over and over and over. But because I have 2 esoterics, which that means that I could theoretically create 2 tokens and then make just a continuously larger amount of Tinker's Totes if I so desired. Which means I could have just a wild amount of 1/1 little golems. I mean, now it's just a big 7/5. So, while I did say that, what I might do is I might exile everything. Which I don't love, because that means he will get something else big onto his hand, or from his hand onto the battlefield, but I guess we'll see. Yep, creates another land. I just chump block. Another Pinnacle Star Cage. Not great, honestly. Doesn't really help me much at all. That's fine. I'll play a Plains. I'm actually going to wait a little bit longer before I exile everything, because I don't think this is the scariest thing he has. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my Tinker's Tote little shenanigans here. So see, 2 stacks of that. I will pay 1. I will pay 2. Great. I will not attack, because I'll just block. Hey, because of those triggers, guess what? I get 2 more of those, which means way more golems. Look at that. I can just keep doing that. I can just keep making more and more and more of them, and I'm not even spending any cards to do it. So we'll see what he's up to. My theory is that he's got some big... See, this is why I saved Beyond the Quiet, right? Because now Beyond the Quiet can exile all that. And he'll probably still get something big for it, right? But that's fine. That's just to be expected, really, with what he's doing. Yep. So I will just chump block. Totally fine. My turn. Sure, another land to play. Oh, you know, now that I think about it, I probably should have attacked first, but that's okay. So, big downside is that he gets to put something big down. Which is another one of those. Uh-oh. Not looking great for me, but that's okay. Oh, interesting. More land. Never ran into this kind of a deck before. Like, I've ran into decks that's trying to use anti-causal vestige to get big things out before, but normally it's like a Sultai, as in green, blue, black, and it uses I'll put it up on screen, the creature that it uses, but it's usually a big, very bad, dangerous creature that exiles things and lets them play a bunch of stuff. This is a very interesting direction for him to go. So gonna attack me for 7, which is really not the end of the world because I can get life back pretty easily. Okay. Yep. Alright. Oh, land. That's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Okay. So what we'll do is I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 mana. To do this little thing twice is 5, gives me 3 more mana, which means I can do it again. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to activate this guy. And I'm going to pay for it once for sure. And I won't pay it a second time. Draw a card. That's an unfortunate draw, but that's okay. Then I will do the same thing with this. Go here. Auto pay. Great. So now when I go to my end step, I will get back a duplicator and another Tinker's Tote. And I'm just gonna wait for opt. So I'll end my turn, bring those things back. So here's my second duplicator and my thing. I'll pass the turn. So I'm gonna leave this mana open to opt. I'm gonna wait to opt on his end step because I don't know what he's gonna play. So knowing what he has on his field is gonna help me dictate what I might want to draw when I go to draw. Oh, he's returning stuff to my hand. Interesting. If he returns my artifacts that I have over here, then I can't get them back. But if he returns that, then that's not really important. In my opinion, what he should have done is returned my copy of my duplicator, one of my Tinker's Totes, back to my hand. Because in doing so, it would have limited my ability to keep doing this kind of looping my artifacts thing I'm doing. Where now, yes, I take 7 damage, but I can get that life back, right? Like, he's already attacked me once. He's already hit me for 7 damage before, and I've only lost 1 life less than my starting life total. So, like, yeah, he'll do 7 now, but next turn I could gain 6 without any real consequence, right? So, in my opinion, that wasn't the smartest of positions for him, but who am I to dictate my opponent's decisions? He has lots of land, but not a whole lot to do with it, now that he has 1 card in hand. I mean, of course he's big creatures. He can hit me for a lot of damage. But that's okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm looking for my Simulacrum Synthesizer, or I'm probably looking for United Battlefront. Those are probably the best cards. For example, I do not need land. So I'm going to tuck that at the bottom and draw. Perfect. Lovely. That's a very good draw for me right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this. What can he do at instant speed? Must be the card in his hand. Maybe it's a protection spell. So this will let me scry too, which will help me dictate. I already have plenty of Tinker's Tote. I don't need that. Plenty of land. I don't need that. Ship those down. Great. And now I have 5 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this, and then I'm going to pay for both my triggers so that I get 2 copies of it, and we'll watch. Once I'm on my end step, just watch. It'll be great. Yep. Hit resolve, bro. Alright. Goes to my end step. Trigger those. And now, I get a Tinker's Totem. Oh, what's that? I get 2 gnomes. I keep calling them golems. They are technically gnomes. Come on, bro. Hit that resolve button. There it is. See, and I get it again. Alright, so there we go. I have 2 12/12s and 4 1/1s. I'm in a very good position now. I can honestly, I don't even worry about anyone drawing more cards. I'm just going to keep Tinker's Toting. I'm just going to keep sacrificing these and getting them back with my duplicators and make an army of gnomes and an army of constructs. And I'm going to gain life the whole time while doing it. because when I sacrifice these, I gain life, right? So it's just going to be a continued loop of gnomes and constructs and life. We'll see what he does about it. That doesn't help him much. Yeah, he's digging. He's digging. Digging for answers. More land. Good, 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 good. Because that's what he needed, right? What, he's got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 land. This is the thing with ramp decks, right? Like, if you don't include the appropriate amount of draw or payoffs for your ramp, then you kind of end up in this situation. He's warping it, which is wild, because, like, okay, what are you putting in your hand? I don't know what this guy's up to. I don't know if he knows what he's up to be entirely honest. Oh, I'm gonna crew your big boy. Okie doke. My golem, or all of my creatures are incredibly disposable. I'm totally fine with all of this. None of this affects me. What you putting from your hand, my guy? Land War Elf. Whew. That's a big hit. Alright. So we're gonna go do. I'm gonna pay for it both times. Autopay, autopay. And I will do it one more time. Alright. I'll swing it with my 9/9. He's gonna block it with his 7/5 regardless, so doesn't need to be... Because I know it was bigger before I sacrificed my Tinker's Totes, but like... He's gonna block it with his Causal anyway, or with that. I mean, regardless, this was gonna be the case, right? This was gonna be the end result. Boom. Not a problem. End my turn. All those come back. Now that's fun. Look at my field of big guys. Ooh. Alright, so now he's probably going to exile my synthesizer, because that's what's giving me the big artifacts. Yeah. That is unfortunate, but not the end of the world, because I still have 3 19/19s and 10 1/1s. So far, he just loses the game. Well, okay, so he could survive, but he blocks all 3 of those, then he takes 10 damage. Alright, so I'm not killing him yet. I am killing Ugin, though. I'm just gonna full swing at Ugin and just murder that guy, because this is gonna be frustrating if he keeps exiling my things. That is a good answer he has. Yeah, that's probably a good call on his end. Alright.
I grant you.
So I should be able to kill Ugin. Oh, or he'll concede. Alright. I don't think he was in the completely losing situation at that point. I do think he could have come out ahead. But hey, you know, I'll take it. I like playing the kind of grindier games to get to this point, and he didn't. So, there we go. Let's move on to the next one. Alright. Get into our next game. Magic Mike. Alright. This starting hand is pretty good. So this guy comes in, surveils. Lets me see the top of my library. Make better decisions that way. I have an early counter spell, which is excellent for my turn 2 play. And then I don't have anything for turn 3, but hopefully I'll draw something. Most of my cards in this deck are 3 mana, so I should have something for turn 3. And then turn 4, I'll be able to start United Battlefronting. Works pretty well for me. So let's see what I got on my top. That's more land. It has a very funny copy effect, but it's also more land. So I'm just gonna ship that to the graveyard. Stomping Ground. Oh, Gruul. Red green. I haven't seen many. Oh, he's playing Teamer. Red green blue. Oh, that's weird. So this card, for anyone who doesn't know, lets you cast things from your exile or your graveyard for 2 less, which is interesting. I don't know what he's doing. I'm completely blindsided by that, honestly. So I played my Simulacrum Synthesizer, so I drew it. I scryed to leave my Perilous Snare, which lets me exile any non-land permanent. So whatever he plays, I'll get to exile it. Great. Okay. We'll see what he does. Okay, so because he's down on mana, I'm gonna Unite a Battlefront. If he still had his 3 mana that he should have at this point, I would snare the dock. But because I think he's a little bit behind, I'm gonna play a touch greedily, which would be playing my Unite a Battlefront. Which, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Yeah. 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 Alright. Works for me. Alright. Getting to our third and what I think will be our final game for this video. I've already kind of shown a pretty good demonstration of what this deck is attempting to do. This is a lovely opening hand. I don't have any turn 2 plays or turn 1 plays, but that's okay. Restless Anchorage is really fun because it gets me be a creature, gets me also maps or artifacts, which makes my golems or my constructs bigger. This is early removal. This is early removal. This is card draw and some funky copying stuff. So I'm gonna keep this. I think this will be good. I'm gonna start by playing the Restless Anchorage as my turn 1 because it comes in tapped. And we'll see what he does. He's playing... Okay, so far my experiences with blue-black have been either a demon deck or a mill deck. And with him playing and not actually doing anything, I suspect this is the mill deck. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to force out my Simulacrum early, because I'm hoping to draw out a counter spell if he has one, because I can use my Reclaimer to get it back from my graveyard next turn if he does counter my Simulacrum. He doesn't counter it. Okay, so now I get a Scry 2. I don't need land yet. Okay, alright. So, a lot going on. I'm not going to worry about the counterspell. This lets me do that looping card draw, making more construct thing, so I'm going to keep that. This deck, I haven't seen this deck in a little while. This one was kind of like a, what you would have called a tempo deck back in the day. A deck trying to use like these kind of tricky creatures to kind of lock down what your opponent is doing, and kind of usually ninjutsu in Kaito. Well, speak of the devil and he shall appear, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so here's why this deck is really fun. My Perilous Snare targets non-land permanents, so I'm going to go ahead and exile his Planeswalker, and in doing so, I create a little token. Look, he's just a little baby 3/3, nothing to worry about. He certainly won't get any bigger. Yep, and he'll stun my Golem, which means I can't attack. Oh no, end of the world. Then my Duplicator, make another Golem, make them bigger. And I can't attack because he tapped my guy, which is fine. What you gonna do? What you gonna do about all my constructs coming for you? Just gotta think about it and pass the turn. Wow. Wow. How exciting. How amazing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play Caretaker's Talent. Doesn't give me another construct, but it will let me draw cards. Okay, that's fine. This will allow me to draw some cards when I create more tokens once a turn. And I can pay 1 mana to level it to level 2 and create another copy of a token. So I'm going to create a copy of this guy, which makes them bigger, draws me a card, and then I just got to swing in. Swing, bada bing, swing. Lovely. I'm in a pretty good spot, because now what I can do is I can start just sacrificing this guy, and just on my end step I'll keep creating a new one, which get me another construct, which will draw me another card, and just loop it on and on and on. I'll draw lots of cards that way. I'll draw a card for sacrificing it, and I'll draw a card for creating a token. Plus, I could also pay 4 mana to make my constructs even bigger. Or if I get Tinker's Tote, make my Tinker's Tote make 3/3s instead of making 1/1s, which is helpful. What you doing, bro? What you doing? Oh, interesting. Well, it does get rid of one of my constructs, I guess. Alright, so I'm gonna do this. Creates me yet another of my boys. Draws me a card. And, alright. Well, look at that. 3 very fun games. Oh my goodness! And I got to platinum in this video. Wow. Well, I'm going to have to include some of this footage in my next Journey to Mythic video, which you can expect next Monday. My current plan is to have a video where I kind of talk about either a current deck I'm playing either in Brawl, or a current deck that's really big in Standard. Every like first Monday, and then every second Monday I'm gonna get out a new Journey to Mythic video, which is gonna be more edited and kind of show more fun gameplay of what I experience. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for coming on my journey all the way up to Platinum, and hopefully you'll join me as I climb my way to Mythic.